Alright everyone, continuing off from last time, we are now going to tackle the Canto 2 dungeon, Lobotomy Branch J-03. For the record, I have uptied all of my special identities that weren't base to uptied 2, and leveled up everyone except Ryoshu to level 12. Now the difficulty for this dungeon is level 15, so that may not be sufficient even with my overpowered Mersault, but we'll have to see how that turns out one way. Here is the proof of what I just said. Let's do this. I know. My looks like average level is just determined by whoever is the lowest on the team, so that's interesting. Trying our best not to step on the crushed remains of the TQ crew's boss, Sinclair barely managing to hold back the urge to gag, re-reached the elevator. I'll mean more later, believe it or not. Rodion was the first to complain about dead insects during our last expedition, but here she got to the lift and pressed the basement button without a grumble. And once the group quieted down, Saud hit Rodion with a barrage of pent-up questions.
소망력도 사용하지 않고 어떻게 이긴 거예요?
How did you manage to win without even using any wish power?
아니, 그것보다 어떻게 이길 거라고 확신을 한 건데요?
No, before any of that, what made you so sure that you'll win regardless?
아이고, 잠깐. 질문은 천천히 하나씩, 알겠지?
Yikes, hold your horses, gal. One question at a time, okay? Rodion spun around, talking Saud into calming down, and then slowly began to elaborate.
철공의 보스는 처음부터 콩콩이파 보스를 제일 경계하고 있었어.
The TQ crew's boss had been keeping a wary eye on the Ting-Tang gangs all along.
어떻게 알았지? 그는 표정조차 읽기 불가능한 전신 의치였을 텐데.
How did you know that? You couldn't have read the tells from his mechanical body.
당연한 얘기야. 애초에 콩콩이파 보스에게는 소망력 추출 기계가 있으니까.
He had every reason to. After all, it was a well-known fact to them that the Ting-Tang gang owned a wish power extractor.
이번 도박에서도 100이면 100 쓸 거라고 확신하고 있었겠지.
He must have been totally sure that the boss or someone representing him would make use of it for this game.
그럼 일부러 네가 소망 스티커를 부착하는 것처럼 보이도록 유도를 했단 말이야?
So, you deliberately made it look like you were using a sticker so that he'd call you out on it?
맞아. 그런 다음에 올인을 외친 거지. 그쪽 눈에는 내가 터무니없을 정도로 배짱 있어 보여야 했으니까.
Yep, then I declared I'm going all in. I needed to seem suspiciously ballsy in his eyes. I just noticed that this elevator only has the one button, B1. How are they going to get back up? Well, whatever.
모든 도박은 다 기세로 판가름 나는 거야.
A winning gambler creates her own momentum and rides it. Fuhu.
봐봐. 너희도 내가 소망 스티커를 가지고 있는 것처럼 생각했잖아?
I mean, look, even you guys thought I'd pop the wish stickers, right?
사실 소망 스티커니 뭐니 하는 것도 결국 바라고 기대하는 마음을 그럴듯하게 이름 붙여놓은 거지 뭐.
If I'm being real, wish stickers and all that stuff are just hopes and desires given important-sounding labels in the end.
스스로에 대한 믿음이 확실한 사람에겐 그냥 괴상한 종이 쪼가리에 불과하다고.
To someone with unshakable faith in themselves, it's nothing more than a weird piece of paper.
그럴 리가. 제2사의 소망력 특이점은 이미 광범위하게 증명된 정식 기술이에요.
Semi-singularity sounds like a made-up term in my eyes, but I'm moving on. That can't be true. J-Core's wish power-related tech is an officially approved semi-singularity with widely proven efficacy.
수만 명의 사람들이 소망력에만 목을 매면서 의존하고 있는데.
Thousands of people rely on wish power for every aspect of their lives.
요즘 같은 시대엔 자신감을 심어주는 것만큼 그럴듯한 것도 없겠지.
I guess there's nothing like it to give people a confidence boost in this day and age.
하지만 난 다르다는 말씀.
But me, I'm different.
난 옛날부터 스스로에 대한 믿음이 있었거든.
I've always believed in myself. Are you sure about that?
믿음이 있다는 건 마음이 곤두박질치지 않아도 된다는 것이요.
To have faith means that the mind may avoid crashing into the depths.
그 믿음 어떻게 하면 얻을 수 있겠어?
Pray tell, how does one go about acquiring that faith?
아, 그거? 진짜 간단한 방법인데. 특별히 전수해주지. 잘 들어.
Oh, that? It's actually super simple. I'll let you in on the secret, so listen up. Oh.
제일 쩌는 건 나니까 누가 무슨 소리를 짓거리든 다 개소리구나 하고 흘리면 돼.
Just think, I'm the most awesome person in the world, so whatever anyone else says is crock shit.
확실히 맞는 말이네요. 파우스트도 그렇게 생각하니까요.
That certainly makes sense. Faust agrees as well. Yes, you would, Faust. Yes, you would. What did you expect, Sinclair?
묻지 않았던 쪽이 나았을지도 모르겠어.
Perhaps I shouldn't have asked at all. Correct. Rodion, don't tell me that's how you've been treating my words. Sadly, the victor's joy didn't last for long. The cavern was filled with the sounds of pickaxes struck against craggy walls, and we saw security guards keeping strict watch over a vault. It felt as though it were sending us a note of warning that we wouldn't reach the bottom so easily.
잠깐만. 이러면 게임을 이긴 보람이 없잖아.
Hold on a sec. There was no point in us winning the game then.
왜 이렇게 숨죽이면서 내려가야 하는 거야? 저 곡괭이질하고 있는 노예들은 누군데?
Why do we have to be so sneaky about this? And who are those slaves picking away at rocks?
우리가 소유권을 얻은 건 맞지만 알다시피 신분을 증명할 것도 없고 엄밀히 말하면 저들한텐 우리가 침입자일 거예요.
Although we've earned ownership. Wait, we own this casino now? Interesting. Wonder if that'll come up later. We have nothing proper to show us proof that we won, and we're more or less intruders to them. In all fairness, anyone would have thought of us as thieves if they saw us awkwardly hiding near the vault.
어마어마하네요. 굴을 파는 중에도 알뜰살뜰 금고까지 만들어놨군요.
Quite the grand excavation. They even made space to insert bolts, all the while digging a tunnel.
아름다운 광경이네. 나 죽으면 꼭 저런 돈방석에 묻어줘. 마지막엔 지폐 냄새를 맡으면서 잠들 거야.
What a stunning sight. When I die, please bury me in a mound of cash like that. I want to fill my lungs with the scent of bills for my final breath.
그러고 보니 아까 우릴 위아래로 훑어보던 그 저와는 아는 사이였나?
By the way, about that man who was at the table, did you know him from somewhere?
고향 친구지.
A friend from back home. Something tells me the history between you two runs deeper than just that.
원래 동창회란 건 그런 거야. 우리 그렉도 지난번에 옛 전우들이랑 살벌하게 인사하지 않았어?
Greg, love, reunions are always uncomfortable. Didn't you feel the tension that time you ran into your former comrades?
그렇게 말하면 할 말이 없네.
Can't argue with that.
철창들 속에 뭔가 움직이고 있네요.
Things are moving inside these cages.
아, 애완동물이라도 기르는 걸까요?
Are they pets they might be raising, perhaps?
당신네 집에서는 철창을 부술 듯이 뒤흔드는 걸 애완동물이라고 말하나 보죠?
Does your family usually count creatures violently shaking their cages as pets?
죄종들이군요.
It's a picatula. Did they think they could tame abnormalities?
유리 씨가 들었으면 기가 차서 코웃음만으로 3명 정도는 날렸을 소린데.
Dear Yuri would have knocked her 3 grown adults out cold with a scoff if she heard that.
유리 씨.
Oh, Yuri.
이론적으로는 가능해요.
It should be theoretically possible.
인간에 준하는 지적 능력을 지니고 있고 수차례의 실험을 거쳤던 검증된 관리법이 있다면요.
Provided that they possess a similar level of intelligence to humans and that an empirically proven method of managing them exists, that is.
뭐 성공만 한다면 훌륭한 경비견이 될 수는 있었겠네요.
Huh, if it did work out, I guess they could have made good guard dogs.
어라, 이분들 자세히 보니 손가락이나 몸 일부분이 물어뜯겨 있어요.
Oh, I'm taking a closer look, and these people have fingers or other parts of their bodies bitten off. Thankfully, he didn't add, "Is this in fashion?" or other obnoxious remarks this time.
이런 게 유행인가 보죠?
You were saying, Dante? Is this in fashion these days? Almost isn't. What are we dealing with here? Vault storage, quarry entrance, quarry 1, 2, and 3, quarry 4, explosives bay, Pecatula enclosure, shelter, underground factory gate. And we'll look at the second floor once we arrive there. We're starting with an abnormality fight, however, so let's head into it. Of course, we'll go with the goats. You. Heathcliff.
해오던 대로 방송을 켜.
경호원의 죄종들까지 이거 귀찮아지는데.
We've got security guards in Pecatula. This is starting to be a bother.
무슨 좋은 수 없어 그래? 전쟁에서 선발대로 섰다며. 네가 나서봐.
Got any ideas, Greg? You fought on the front lines before. Try something. The front lines have nothing to do with a stealth mission.
아이 그게 왜 지금 밀지 마.
What does that have? Hey, don't push! Being shoved out of cover by Rodion, Gregor stumbled forward, separated from us. Then bumping into a slave who was busy digging away at rocks. They seemed to pause for a moment in awkwardness.
이봐, 그쪽이나 우리나 벅 유쾌한 상황 같진 않은데 좋게 넘어가는 거 어때?
Hey there. Looks like the way things are going here isn't all too pretty for the both of us, ne? How about we let this slide?
우린 저 금고에 돈을 노리는 게 아니야.
We're not after the cash stored in that vault.
물론 돈이 있으면 좋긴 하겠지만 우리는 아래층으로 내려가고 싶은 거야.
I mean, wouldn't say no if we were offered it, but the point is we're just looking for a way downstairs.
귀찮은 일은 안 생기게 만들게. 못 본 척 보내주는 거 어때?
Not here to make any fuss. Why don't we pretend this never happened and go our own ways? For
4,792만 원.
47,920,000.
4,791만 원. 4,790.
47,910,000. 47,900,000.
알아듣게 얘기 안 하면 남손 다 분이다.
Speak some sense or I'll barf on your hands. BAR? Whatever. For someone who often speaks in riddles herself, Ryoshu's patience sure wore out quickly. She gripped the sheath of her sword as she threatened the worker.
아마 남은 손가락을 다 분질러 버리겠다는 뜻인 것 같아요.
I can't say for sure, but I think she meant she'll break all the remaining fingers on that person's hands. At this point, I'm more scared of how quickly you got that.
갚아야 돼.
Must repay.
빚을 전부 갚아야 가족들에게 돌아갈 수 있어.
Repay all the debt before I can go back to my family.
곡괭이질 한 번당 1안씩이라고 했어. 4,700 얼마 들어. 말 걸지 마. 숫자 세야 되니까.
They said they'll take off 1 on for every swing. 47. How much was it? Ugh, don't talk to me. I have to count.
잠깐. 거기 웬 소란이지?
Hold on. What's that noise over there?
아, 이런.
Ah, shoot. Cornered, Gregor suddenly started shouting in a remarkably out-of-character voice.
이렇게는 못 살겠다.
We can't live like this anymore.
무슨 말도 안 되는 행패냐? 사람을 묶어놓고 곡괭이질만 시키다니.
This is outrageous tyranny to tie people up and force them to dig.
다 같이 일어서자. 대항을 내보자. 자, 돌진!
Let us all rise up and fight our oppressors. Go, onward!
너 뭐하냐?
The hell was that?
프로파간다인가. 유감스럽게도 먹혀들진 않았군.
Propaganda. His effort has regrettably ended in failure.
그래, 저들은 말이야. 평생을 버러지처럼 남을 등쳐먹거나 자기들이 등쳐먹어진 자들이야.
Greg, sweetie, here's the thing about those peoples. They ended up here by living their whole lives as scum, exploiters and exploitees.
그런 되도 않는 훈수 몇 마디로 갑자기 정신을 차리겠어?
You weren't expecting some half-baked speech to be enough to wake up the revolutionary inside them, were you? And you will know all about that, wouldn't you, Rodion?
다음부터 선동작전을 짜려면 그럴싸한 연기력부터 갖추고 오도록.
Before you attempt an instigation operation next time, be sure to train your acting skills to at least an intermediate level. You will know all about that, wouldn't you, Otis?
그래, 태어나서 연기라고는 한 번도 안 해봤던 거야?
Oh, Greg, have you never tried acting in your whole life?
그만해. 나도 부끄러우니까.
I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I will give it my best shot because it's better than to try. It's better to try than not at all. Shy Benkeltleister. Look, I'm embarrassed myself. Gregor's terrible acting must have even agitated the security as well. That explained them opening up those locked cages in a potentially risky move. Alright, the enemy's starting at level 12 and so are my sinners. At the moment, everything's on par still.
먼저 간다.
부드럽게. 균형이 무너졌군요. 불타올랐군요.
As before, we're going to tackle as much as we can. Alright, you're done.
빨리
Slave. No ifs, ands, or maybes about it. They are who they are.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게. 다음은 침묵을 안겨드리자.
그렇지. 결투는 끝나지 않았다.
꺼냈다. 맛있는 거 준비해줘, 단테. 금방 다녀올게. 완전한 침묵.
Let's see. You're done. And you're done. You too now.
행동을 개시합니다. 지금의 기회입니다. 행동을 개시합니다.
쉽네. 쉽네.
이 정도야? 승리했어!
Okay, let's see. You're done. You're done. You're done.
출진이다!
순조로운 잘했어요.
저는
기다려. 아직 안 끝났어.
승리했어!
These starting fights are rather short and sweet. I feel like these things are more interconnected than they were in Canto 1. Because I feel like in the Canto 1 dungeon, I'd have to go back to the previous node to get into any of these. While here, I could just sidestep into them, more or less. Quarry 4. Let's see. You're done. There you go, Gregor. And after this, once everyone's sanity is maxed, we'll go back to the original theme until we inevitably have to change it again at the next checkpoint. Oh? 3 security chiefs? Seems a bit excessive. Of course it won't be enough, but it still seems to be a bit excessive.
해보겠습니다.
출진이다!
순조로운 전략입니다.
생각대로 되었어! 출진이다!
좋은 전략입니다.
생각대로 되었어!
아름답진 않네.
Beautiful. Everyone but Gregor. Might as well put some of the stronger folks back in. 3 chiefs versus 3 slaves. That hardly seems fair.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 순조로운 전략입니다.
좋은 결투였다.
좋은 전략입니다.
Oh no, here's a stat.
딱.
순조로운 전략입니다. 좋은 전략입니다.
균형이 무너졌군요.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
좋은 결투였다. 좋은 결투였다.
Alright, first checkpoint. Full heal, but sanity reset, of course. Yep. Can I upgrade? No, I couldn't upgrade my IDs here. Maybe outside of this dungeon, but not here. Underground factory gate. Let's go. Select the strongest, of course. So, you, and Rodion because it's your chapter.
딱.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
어떠냐? 부드럽게.
좋은 결투였다.
잠깐, 이것들 왜 이쪽으로 오는 거지? 멈춰! 멈추라니까!
Wait, why are they coming this way? Stop! I said stop!
이것들 좀 떼어줘! 빨리!
Get them away from me! Hurry! 47,900,000. The debtors kept on swinging their pickaxes. 47,900,000 picks left and counting down. We were able to find our way down using this opportunity.
빚쟁이들의 도움을 받은 셈이 됐군.
So we did get help from the debtors after all.
우연이지 뭐.
Just a coincidence. Indeed it was. Rodion replied with an apathetic look. Yep, save scene. Can I reset again? Production line 1, production line 2, production line 3, molding chamber, assembly line, maintenance point, paint shop, backup generators, forward base, safety testing, final processing, waste disposal, quality control. Very interesting. Well, one at a time. Let's do this. This time instead of strongest first, let's just do things normally.
형형색색의 매끈한 플라스틱으로 이루어진 컨테이너 박스.
It's a freight container made of smooth and colorful plastic.
단순한 공장 시설이라고 판단하기에는 이질적인 소재가 많다.
The prevalence of peculiar materials suggests that this is not a simple manufacturing facility. I do not remember that jingle. As soon as Mersault finished, the colorful yet ominously designed container activated with a cheery tune.
불길해요.
I've got a bad feeling.
왜 2층부터는 경호원이 보이지 않는 거죠?
Why aren't there any security guards around now? Well, was all I could mutter before the answer revealed itself to us. The doors of the container opened as it finished operating, and inside... my favorite abnormality. Have you become strong? You want to get beat? Heartily? That's the name. That's literally just the name. Highly excited. Thoroughly amusing. The game of death. Ath. Or ATH. 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 What is that?
이 구간부터는 땅굴 파는 작업을 본격적으로 들어갔던 모양이에요.
It appears they redoubled excavation efforts from this point onward.
그게 아니고서야 강화 인간들을 대량으로 생산시킬 리는.
I can't think of any other reason to augment humans on a conveyor belt. Yeah, I get it. Now let's move. They're pointed right at us, singing that spooky song. Here they are. Become strong, genuinely. A bunch of creeps walked out of that container box wearing tin cans on their heads, torsos made up of some sort of plastic. It's hard to explain. It was like someone arbitrarily put together pieces of random toys. On top of unmatching colors, some straight up lacked frames to cover up the mechanisms. They weren't all machines either. Between the parts, I saw bits of flesh and dried blood. Just what is going on inside that box? Maybe it's a type of automated prosthetic procedure device? A company my father considered buying was... never mind, forget I said anything. Abnormalities are not real devices. I recommend against trying to make ties with existing things. And I doubt we're going to learn these next two, but we'll see. Game spare?
행동을 개시합니다.
좋은 결정.
곡들을 제거하겠소.
생각대로 되었어.
지금이 기회입니다.
You must become strong as their only passive. At the start of the turn, gain 1 protection.
출진이다!
폭의 거울은 깨졌소.
아름답진 않네.
Not see anyone matched. You are Yithang and you are Salt. Moving on.
행동을 개시합니다.
부드럽게.
승리했어!
예술이 뭔지 보여주지.
생각대로 되었어.
불타올랐군요. 시작한다.
승리했어!
Let's see. You're done. You're done. You're done. Oh, we did actually unlock the second level. They're tough. These things are way tougher than they look. I thought they'd be as easy to deal with as children's toys, but I way misjudged. I thought I'd seen my share of extraordinary things throughout my career of unpleasant jobs, but it looks like I still have much to see and learn. There has to be a human inside, but they acted like broken killing machines. Their upper body rotates all the way around, and their arms moved weirdly too. And most of all, it's like they're incapable of feeling pain. I heard some alleys in the back streets provide a surgery that fries pain receptors. Could this be similar? As I repeatedly assert, abnormalities are entities of their own category. You shouldn't construe them with the city's standards, Ishmael. And yet abnormalities physically exist in this realm. If the properties of a thing aren't determined by the laws of the space it exists in, can it truly be said to exist? The hell are you yapping on about? I don't believe it's necessary for you to understand, Heathcliff. Huh? Is my name written here somewhere? How'd you know it was me? Funny. A cigarette burn is left on the paper. Geez, they're all aiming for these back two, and I can't really redirect. Well, it doesn't matter.
볼 수 없게.
해냈어요.
전혀.
Well, that went about as well as expected.
행동을 개시합니다.
전혀.
지금이 기회입니다.
금방 다녀올게.
해냈어요.
We'll hit the molding chamber first before hitting the event. I want more sanity. You're done. You're done. I don't like how hurt they got, but nothing for it. Oh, these look different. Become strong, genuinely. Grown powerful, for realsies. Doesn't look like they're any different. All but one. There we go.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
순조로운 전략입니다.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
제가 해낸 건 맞죠?
겨우 이 정도야?
좋은 전략입니다.
금방 다녀올게.
해냈어요.
In the middle of the factory, you find a vending machine with large buttons. They're colorful and fancy. You feel a strong compulsion to press them. Which one will you press? Press the red button with a fist icon, gain an ego gift. Press the yellow button with a foot icon, gain an ego gift. Press the green button with a heart icon, gain an ego gift. Press all the buttons at once, gain 3 ego gifts, but don't press anything. Obviously. Error. The vending machine began to rattle. Hey, what's wrong with this thing? You should have known better than to get greedy. Before the center could finish, the machine exploded, spewing a slew of toy parts into the air. All allies took 25 HP and SP damage. Ego gift, Toy Fist obtained. Toy Fist, all allies deal 10% more damage. Very nice. Ego gift, Toy Foot obtained. Toy Foot, all allies gain +1 speed. Very useful. Ego gift, Toy Screw obtained. Toy Screw, all allies gain +10% max HP. Definitely the weakest of the gifts, I think, and it's a good thing I hit all three, because if I only picked one, it probably would have been that one, but only because I suspected it would have been something else. There they all go. Boss fight time. Here I will go with the strongest. Let's see. You want to get beat virtually, and this is the main one. Weird. We unlocked the last level for this one. So it seems they're all the same. Just to make sure before I finish reading that. Yeah, they're all the same. Okay, let's finish reading this one. I think I have an idea now. When I approached the fainted tin men, I heard mechanical noises. It sounded like things were being fixed within. If I had to guess, they seem to be equipped with devices that automatically repair their bodies, but the device didn't seem capable of carrying out more than 5 repairs. Only trouble is that they grow stronger each time they're fixed up. We should find a way to deal with them and stop this repair mechanism from getting to work. Until then, we'll have to bear with their 5 lives. Oh, by the way, how do you think the human parts inside are being repaired? Do not question the physics of abnormalities. I suspect Faust is starting to get mad at you, Ishmael. You must become strong at the start of the turn, gain 1 protection. You must become strong at the start of the turn, gain 2 protection. And okay, I can redirect you.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
Surgery, dying when count reaches 5, reduce max HP by 20% per count, deal plus 20% damage per count, gain 2 haste. Yeah, in case it wasn't obvious, these guys are your first real gimmick enemy. One that you can't defeat normally unless you're willing to brute force it, and that might come at a higher cost than what you're expecting.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
어떠냐?
침묵을 안겨드리죠.
간다!
다시 결투는 끝나지 않았다.
In case you're wondering, you defeated the enemy, but now it's back up. What's going on?
임무 중에 찾아오시면 안 되는데.
In case you're wondering why that she seemed to get a 4-coin skill out of nowhere, it's this skill. Flashing Strike. On use, at less than half HP, use coin 1 and 2 an additional time. Let me tell you, she was very useful for some extremely difficult early game content. Those who know will know. Yeah, I think this is serious enough to warrant ego use.
어떡. 다시 결투는 끝나지 않았다.
그 자식은 아직 살아있을 거야.
환상의 세계로 들어가 보죠.
How do those cyborgs keep coming back? The sinners were discussing. Perhaps those beings are not alive. That way, they will not be able to die. No, we're not getting philosophical here. To me, it looked like rebuilding a brick wall. I think I'm hearing something from that factory in the back. The group turned their gaze to the factory behind the cyborgs. Metallic clanking could be heard from the place that was quiet until moments ago. Maybe you should take a look at that shady facility. Now, this is more or less your first chance to decide whether or not you want to engage with this abnormalities gimmick or not. Normally, I choose not to because it allows me to grind ego resources in future encounters of this battle. Not story-wise, but in certain side content that will only be able to demonstrate after this Canto, ironically enough. But here, both to properly show off the gimmick, and because my sinners are weaker than they should be at this stage in the game, at least according to the level recommendations, we will fully engage with the gimmick and investigate the factory. You decided to check out the factory, but you might want to do something about the cyborgs first, just to be safe. Perhaps you could earn enough time to get through by incapacitating the biggest one, investigating the factory. Go for the big one.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
모든 걸 걷어들일 순 없었어.
That one reached 5 surgeries, so they died. It'll be fine.
어떡. 다시 결투는 끝나지 않았다.
다음은 침묵을 안겨드리죠.
나도 이 안에 담아주지.
It was fine. Pinning down the largest cyborg as planned, you got to the factory in time. Looks like some kind of toy plant. The sinners comment on the huge mechanism. Ah, come, behold this curiosity. The sinner pointed to a control panel with several buttons attached to it. Do you love the city you live in? What should you press? Now here's where Project Moon gets you a little bit, because there is certain abnormalities from the first game that are heavily referenced in this one. But generally speaking, you are punished for bringing this foreknowledge with you, because there is indeed an abnormality named "Do you love the city you live in?" And if you respond yes to this abnormality, you get a positive result. If you say yes to this abnormality, you get blown up. So here we are going to press no 3 times because I don't remember clearly, but I think the explosion deals like 100 damage and it will lead to a team wipe. Incorrect input. You must become strong. Please input your answer again. Warning, pressing the button 3 times will cause the facility to shut down. Do you love the city you live in? What should you press? No. Incorrect input. You must become strong. Please input your answer again. Warning, pressing the button 3 times will cause the facility to shut down. Do you love the city you live in? What should you press? No. Detected 3 inputs. Operating emergency protocol number 3. Facility shutdown. Looks like it stopped. The machines whirred for a short while before stopping. With that, the cyborg shall no longer revive. Let's step outside the factory, shall we? All enemies have lost their upgrade factory at work passives. Oh, I should have read that passive. Let me look at it now, since it'll still be here even if it doesn't work anymore. Upgrade factory at work. When this unit is defeated, it revives the next turn and gains 1 surgery. You know that. And they lose all of their skills, instead gaining emergency, which isn't overly powerful, but it does damage themselves. So even if you lose clashes against them, as long as you have enough health, you shouldn't kick the bucket. Keyword shouldn't.
다시 결투는 끝나지 않았다.
불타올랐군요.
And down they go. Emergency surgical kit. During battle, if an ally takes lethal damage, their HP won't go below 1. On the next turn, fully heal their HP and gain 3 surgery. They will die at the end of the battle. Activates once per dungeon, then the gift expires. Fun fact, I actually, on my first go at this dungeon, had this proc on the final battle, but because it was the final battle, this part doesn't activate naturally. Oh, neat. The abnormality icon is here now. Naturally, we can't skip the checkpoints. Not that we would want to. We're pretty badly hurting. There we go. Fully healed. Need more sanity before I touch this. Oh hey, they're down here.
출진이다!
Level 13. The enemies are officially stronger than us now.
출진이다! 당연한 결과죠.
적들을 제거하겠소.
결투는 끝나지 않았다.
지어치는 낙엽하오.
당연한 결과죠. 당연한 결과죠.
Yeah, I will go this far before I head back. You're done Yiseng, you're done Ryoshu. Coming in Honglu and Heathcliff. First taste of the new abnormality that's going to come up soon. Pink Shoes Enchanty. Writing is rather tedious work. Oh, but I do suppose it's not a bad idea to write down my experiences. I hated when my grandmother scolded and pestered me into keeping a diary, but now I'm not so adverse to the thought. So I have to describe the appearance of that abnormality, right? Firstly, its eyes were out of focus. Yeah, you can sure say that. It was drooling from the mouth too. Something about the color of the eyes and the saliva was off as well. They were all pink, same as the ribbon wrapped around the body. Oh, speaking of ribbons, doesn't it bear a striking resemblance to silk? I think our family kept a similar color of fabric, though it wasn't the most luxurious. I do guess it's valuable in its own right. Right, that's it. We use something like this for decoration on our younger sibling's birthday. We don't know their past. Oh, actually one thing. There's something I want to test. See this factory in the background? I'm genuinely not sure why. But for some reason, messing with the 1, 2, and 3 keys will make it move around. 1 makes the door invisible or not. 3 opens the door and closes it again. I'm genuinely not sure why this is a thing, but it is. And 2 changes this time from pausing to progressing. It's just a weird little Easter egg as far as I can tell. There's no point to it, but it's just amazing in its own way. Anyway, back to it.
출진이다!
전혀 쉽네.
결투는 끝나지 않았다.
먼저 간다.
당연한 결과죠.
Desirous. Gain 2 fragile and 10 bind this turn. Also gain a skill slot and change behavior. Pink Shoes Enchantee. Wavering Desires. While Desirous, this unit gains 2 fragile and 10 bind, gains 1 skill slot and changes behavior. Ensnaring Desires. This unit becomes desirous every time it loses 30% of its HP.
딱 좋은 결투.
Well, whatever. We can only go there if we go through here first. I want a few more sinners at max sanity first before I head back, so waste disposal. Well, wait. Final processing. You're done, you're done, you're done. Might as well do them all, really. Alright, enough messing around. Wow, none of you are choosing to clash. You are doing a terrible job, guys. Alright, let's do this ourselves. See, that was not hard. Let's give Rodion some support though.
금방 다녀올게.
In case you didn't see it, yes, you can still change these things while the clashing is going on. So that's Rosy Dance. I guess that's the secret skill it gains. On hit, inflict 1 urge next turn. Urge. At the end of the turn, if at 5+ stacks, take 30 SP damage, gain 2 fragile and 10 bind, and remove this effect. Yikes.
저 간다.
해냈어요.
균형이 무너졌군요. 불타올랐군요.
Alright. Funny, I can go backwards into this now. But let's handle you first. Let's see. You're done. You're done. Come on in, you two.
목표인가요?
It'll be fine.
좋아, 간다.
순조로운 전략입니다.
겨우 이 정도야?
명령대로 하겠습니다. 순조로운 전략입니다.
좋아, 간다.
다음은 침묵을 안겨드리죠.
좋은 전략입니다. 해냈어요.
Alright, now up here. Suppose it doesn't really matter here.
빨리 끝내.
Oh good, we unlocked the second part. Oh dear, it looks like these used to be employees of this company. Pao said their outfits and employee IDs belong to the former L Corps. Goodness, I can't impossibly imagine looting a corpse myself. If it came down to me, I would have ordered a servant to handle the task. And I would have looked away from that gross sight and told the servant to explain it with words. Oh, I wouldn't have taken interest in dead bodies in the first place, now that I think about it. Could these deceased people be animated by those ribbons, perhaps? The ribbons that grab us as we fight them. If they wrap around us when we die, do you think we'll become like them? Looks good.
좋아, 간다.
제가 해냈어요.
Come on, Gregor.
자! 겨우 이 정도야. 한 건 했다. 맛있는 거 준비해줘, 단테.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 좋은 전략입니다.
좋아, 간다.
제가 해냈어요.
Alright, everyone's at max sanity. Let's do this event now. Exiting the passage, you see a group of cyborgs gathered around a huge roulette. Oh, highly excited, thoroughly amusing, on the game of the Ath. Oh, so that's what the Ath was about. Death. They approach you, chanting in strange beats. It looks like they want you to play a game of roulette. What shall you do? Take on the challenge. Rodion gains SP, run Wrath, Sloth, and Gloom checks. Pass to heal all allies SP and gain an ego gift. Forget games, crush them in battle. Rodion loses SP. Begin a combat encounter. Win to gain an ego gift. Now, in the first time I did this dungeon, I went with the battle because it's always a more sure thing. But this time I will take on the challenge. I'll probably lose since I'm not sure I have the advantages on all these attacks. You know this is where I shine. Rodion proudly exclaimed as she stepped forward. You can see a mixture of anticipation and excitement on her face. Rodion healed for 20 SP. Liking red color, liking red color, like it, like it. A group of cyborgs yelled along to a strange rhythm. Red 4. Exulting the number high, they spun the roulette. Then they handed a roulette ball to one of the sinners. It seems the ball has to enter a red pocket with a number higher than 4. Who should spin the ball? Let's go with... Issei. Losing, defeat, Urgak. The upgraded croupier fell to the ground, buzzing and sparking. Even its final throws felt rhythmic. The selected identity healed for 15 SP.
6회를 맞이했어.
I was met with mirth. Now time now to stay all HURT. The chuckling cyborgs went back to the roulette. Like yellow color, like yellow color, yellow, yellow, yellow. Yellow 6. This time the ball has to enter a yellow pocket with a number higher than 6. Who should spin the ball? This is where someone who's new to the game can be semi-trapped. Once you pick a sinner for a choice event, generally speaking, you cannot pick the same sinner if the event continues. Let's go with you, Faust. My analysis does tell me that this task will be relatively easy. All lost! Foil again! Yarg! The upgraded croupier fell to the ground, buzzing and sparking. The selected identity healed for 15 SP.
성공에 연연해하지 마세요.
Try not to cling to this success. Can't say no to fun, not one little tiny bit. The singing group of cyborgs spins the wheel. Liking blue color, liking blue color. Bluey, bluey, bluey. Blue 8. This time the ball has to enter a blue pocket with a number higher than 8. Who should spin the ball? ahead, Don Quixote. Gosh dang it. Bam! The cyborg swung its massive arm to smack the sinner. Game over. Consolation prize time. The group of cyborgs tossed something at us, then walked away. The selected identity took 20 HP damage.
역경을 이겨내야 진정한 영웅인 법. 다음에 다시 가보세.
A true hero must needs be able to overcome hardship. We shall sally forth once more next time. The consolation prize was just a bump on the noggin. There is no actual prize. Gosh dang it, Don Quixote. They're giving me trouble. Yeah, I'm feeling salty about that, no hiding it. The second I had a chance of failure, she failed. Yeah, no, that's gonna depress me for a hot while. I do want to show you what happens if you win all the games, but obviously I can't do that. This is meant to be continuous, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just going to look it up. Alright, if you won the event, you would have gotten this dialogue. Everything gone up bus. Damn it. The upgraded croupier fell to the ground, buzzing and sparking. All the other cyborgs broke down with it at the same time. Have we won? You notice something glowing in their pile of tin rubble. You carefully picked it up. Everyone would have healed 30 SP, Rodion would have healed 20 SP, and you would have received the ego gift Rainbow Mainspring. At the start of the turn, apply 2 protection to the ally with the least HP. If you fought the enemies instead, you would have gotten Rusty Mainspring. At the start of the turn, apply 1 protection to the ally with the least HP. I can't show you it, but at least I told you it. Let's do this.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
And yes, in case it wasn't clear, this is proof that abnormalities can affect other abnormalities. Though, it might not be clear whether this is the main abnormality or merely a minion or offshoot of the main one. Either way, clippity-cloppity, tap away! Composed of machinery, tin, plastic, steel, and circuits. Red or pink ribbons are coiled around the body. A pair of pink shoes are worn around the parts thought to be feet. The feet appear to have been forcibly shoved into the pink shoes. Anomalies observed in the color and direction of pupils in all entities. Will note new discoveries in a future report. Damn, that's awful dry. Probably more salt, but hard to say for sure.
아딱. 다시 결투는 끝나지 않았다.
Dang it, Honglu. Is it just me, or is something sinister approaching?
어떡.
There goes Rodion. Thankfully, there was the emergency surgical kit, but that means they're gonna die after this. There is a checkpoint right after this, but I'm not sure I'm willing to go through with it. Because I want that gift for later fights. Okay, I'm backing out. Let's give this another try.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
Now doesn't that feel better?
금방 다녀올게.
침묵을 안겨드리죠. 그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
균형이 무너졌군요.
One down. Jeez, I'm not sure I want to go up against that. Yeah, use ego. I have the resources for it after all.
먼저 간다. 좋은 결투였다.
다음은 침묵을 안겨드리죠.
나도 이 안에 담아주지.
환상의 세계로 들어가 보자. 계속 서늘해지는 것 같아요.
Now you won't know this, of course, but in case it wasn't clear, we skipped the abnormality event Most abnormality fights have a choice event somewhere in the middle of them, but if you kill them fast enough, it might not trigger. Feels like it's getting colder and colder.
왜 점점 얼음이 많아지죠?
What's up with all this ice around?
이상 현상이 잦아질수록 긍정적인 신호라고 생각하는 편이 좋아요.
An increase in the frequency of anomalies should ideally be strong, positive reflections.
불렀어?
Did you call? I feel like there's a pun in there somewhere. An increase. Ideal. Yeah, there it is. Because ideality is he saying.
지금 그거 농담은 아니었으면 좋겠어요. 덕분에 더 추워질 것 같으니까.
I hope that wasn't your attempt at a joke. Thanks to you, I'm feeling even colder. Putting aside Ishmael's grievance, I thought about what Faust had said. Because that means we're getting close to the golden bow, right? It was a pretty solid answer if I do say so myself.
네.
Yeah, sure. But Faust's reply was discouragingly dull, or at least that's how I heard it. That's a beautiful design. Snowy crossroads, frozen ruins, snowstorm fields, buried hideout, ruined village, drawbridge, ice castle where neighbors lie. Barring unforeseen circumstances, I really do think that this one will be shorter than the other. Oh, and it looks like we got an ego gift after that last battle, but it didn't say so. Odd. After writhing ribbon. After winning a clash using a lust skill, inflict 1 bind and 1 fragile next turn. Let's head up. Oh yeah, this is definitely the Fathom. Complete failure to do your jobs, I see. Pass this one, as always. And pile on that one.
예술이 뭔지 보여주지.
Nice.
행동을 개시합니다.
좋은 결투였다.
아름답진 않네.
승리했어!
Yep, full on snowflake.
출진이다!
지금이 기회입니다.
Oh, come on the platter and you still mess up. Yoshu. There.
폭들을 제거하겠소.
생각대로 되었어.
기다려. 아직 안 끝났어.
출진이다.
당연한 결과죠. 행동을 개시합니다.
승리했어.
By the way, in case you're wondering how come it seems like I can just tap somewhere and my mouse moves there, as I said in a previous video, this screen is a touch screen. Shivering miner slave. Guess it's my turn now. Figured it'd come sooner or later. I saw the other guys write stuff down from time to time, and Greg was making notes with a super grumpy face one time too. Would it hurt for our guide, Mr. Color and Faust over there, to tell us anything? Well, a job is a job, I guess. I don't know how to put this to words. It looks like that guy with the pickaxe outside, but with spikes of ice here and there. Nothing too weird so far. I've seen bigger icicles on someone who slept outside back in my hometown. The weird thing is, they've got legs that look like they belong to a chicken. What's that supposed to mean? Too many skill slots, not enough sinners to meet them.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
겨우 이 정도야?
자!
You know, despite what it may seem, that bursting gloom skill where they literally explode doesn't actually kill them. I think the first enemy that actually has a gimmick that directly kills themselves is way later. Like, way later.
해보겠습니다. 균형이 무너졌군요. 해냈어요.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
해냈어요. 불타올랐군요.
I'm not even gonna try the buttons this time. I know they're gonna fail me.
임무 중에 찾아오시면 안 되는데.
It feels weird since at this point in the game, your sinners can still reliably roll a 1 on speed. That's basically not a thing come later in the game. Well, barring one exception.
뭐야? 내가 보고 싶었던 거야?
Better to make one a sure kill instead of spreading out the damage.
해보겠습니다.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 완전한 침묵.
시작한다. 쉽네.
명령대로 하겠습니다. 완전한 침묵.
You're done, you're done. Well, no, come back in, actually. Wow, everyone's aiming for her. Nice. The large pickaxe turned into a big icy scythe, like the stuff Grim Reapers from fairy tales carry around. It was all massive and sharp. The way they wield it didn't really change though, to lift it up and swing it down. Oh, they're mining our skulls instead of ore veins. And instead of gold or silver, we yield a red liquid. Whoa, just a sec. Kid's head blew open again. Close enough. To conclude in her stead, Sinclair was properly restored by the manager later. Shuddering Terror. Gain 1 protection for every ally that died this wave. Max 5. Something tells me that will be a pain later. Just a feeling. Freezing miner slave, shivering miner slave. I already know that won't work. Why did I try it again? I can outspeed you, though.
해보겠습니다. 제가 해낸 거 맞죠?
I imagine that's about as close as I could have gotten it anyway.
좋아, 간다.
Now it doesn't matter.
명령대로 하겠습니다.
제가 해냈어요.
Let's give Rodion a break.
명령대로 하겠습니다.
다음은 침묵을 안겨드리죠.
순조로운 전략입니다.
Gosh dang it, Gregor, but we all already knew.
해보겠습니다. 제가 해냈어요.
Way to go, Sinclair, though.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
폭의 거울은 깨졌어.
Checkpoint. Drawbridge. Is this the final encounter? Maybe so. In which case, strongest foot forward plus Rodion.
빨리 끝내.
Before us stood a monumental castle of ice and frozen pillars that seemed unbreakable. And there stood a person. A man with hyaline hair, clear as ice, waiting for us. Hyaline. I don't remember that word. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Hyaline. Having a glassy, translucent appearance. Yeah, I can see that. Still though, how did they get down here? I thought the elevator was the only way.
나는 가끔 머릿속이 복잡해질 때마다 이곳으로 오곤 했어. 비록 네가 좋아하는 안락 의자나 위스키는 없지만.
I came here often whenever I felt the need to clear my thoughts, even though there's no rocking chairs or whiskey you like. How did you get down here?
여기는 외투를 아무리 단단히 여며봐도 추위가 뚫고 들어와. 그래서 생각이 더 명료해져.
The chill dominating this place pierces even the thickest coat. It helps me restore a lucid mind. While the rest of us were frozen stiff, stuck watching, Rodion made a slow step forward to face him.
먼저 와 있을 줄은 몰랐는데 말이야.
Didn't expect you to be here first.
나와 대원들은 일찌감치 이곳으로 통하는 지름길을 알고 있었어.
My men and I knew of a shortcut leading here that goes through, like, at least 30 feet of solid rock.
이 지역의 부정한 것들을 통해서 얻어낸 자료였지. 대의를 위한 큰 힘이 묻힌 공간에 대한 자료 말이야.
Well, not like miners are in short supply around here. It was something we learned through the local ruffians, all in search of the whereabouts of a buried, great power waiting to be used for the greater good.
하지만 이 황금 가지가 묻혀 있는 공간에만 근접하게 도달했을 뿐 어찌할 방도가 보이지 않았지.
Alas, this area surrounding the Golden Bow was as far as we could go. We didn't see any way to get closer. It's spelled a bit different here. Yurodiviye, without the I and E.
25구에 박혀 있을 줄만 알았는데 그따위 조직 범죄단 같은 수법이나 쓸 거면 계속 박혀 있는 게 좋았을 것 같네.
Thought you'd never leave District 25, but seeing you now, resorting to the tactics gangsters would use, maybe you should have stayed a country boy.
소냐, 네 덕에 죄 없는 상인들도 전부 돈을 빼앗기고 있었어.
Sonia, your lackeys have been taking from shopkeepers who weren't even rich to begin with.
그거 알아, 로자? 이곳은 원래 성애가 가득 끼어 있을 뿐인 조금 기묘한 장소에 불과했어.
Did you know, Rodion? This was little more than a somewhat eccentric hollow with frosty walls.
하지만 이것 봐. 지금은 거대한 성과 단단한 얼음들로만 뒤덮인 곳이 되었네.
Yet, look at this. Now there's a giant castle and thick columns of ice. That does not bode well, does it?
네가 막 이곳으로 발걸음을 한 순간부터
This change happened the instant you walked in.
마치 내가 오면 변할 걸 알고 있었다는 듯한 말투네. 어떻게 알았지?
You sound like you figured this would happen on my arrival. How'd you know?
정보의 출처는 여러 가지가 있지만 네가 알 필요는 없어, 로자.
I have many sources, but that's none of your business, Rodion. Something tells me we'll see hints of those sources soon enough, however.
애초에 나 때문이라고 어떻게 단언하지? 난 뒷골목을 쏘다니는 마술사가 아니란 말이야.
What makes you so sure that I made this happen in the first place? I'm not some kind of backstreet witch or anything.
어려울 것 없어. 그저 얼음 속 잠든 이들의 얼굴만 봐도 알 수 있지.
It's not hard at all to figure out. Observing those faces encased in ice says enough.
이것 봐. 네가 사랑했던 하지만 동시에 속으로 내려보던 얼굴들이잖아.
Take a peek. They're ones you loved yet looked down on, are they not?
25만 원.
250,000 on. Wicked tax collector, District 25.
이게 고작 그 정도 값이라고요? 말도 안 돼요.
That's all it's worth? It's not possible.
그러니까 말이 되지 않나? 오래된 만큼 흠집도 작고 윤기도 나지 않아.
You said precisely why, though. Its age is showing in all the scratches and lack of polish.
사실 다른 곳에선 20만 원도 아까운 수준이야.
To be frank, others wouldn't pay any more than 200,000 for this.
나머지는 모두 쓸모도 없는 쓰레기뿐이군.
And the rest, all worthless garbage.
이로써 뱉어야 할 세금은 모두 40만 원이네.
That makes the taxes you owe 400,000 on in total.
왜 가난한 자들은 일할수록 더 가난해지기만 할까?
Why do the poor only grow poor the harder they work?
진짜 어이없지. 전당포 주인의 금고에 돈이 쌓여갈수록
It's ridiculous, isn't it? While stacks of cash piled up in the pawnbroker's vault,
우리 이웃들은 추억마저 저울질 당하며 푼돈 취급을 받고 있었어.
our neighborhood was being wrung dry. Heirlooms weighed for what little monetary value they had.
소냐는 항상 어려운 말을 섞어 쓰면서 사람들을 끌어모았고
Sonia rallied people, delivering speeches using big words.
그들의 아래에 유로집이라는 이름의 조직이 세워졌지.
They organized a group under the name of the Yurodiviye.
처음엔 괜찮았어. 머리가 텅텅 빈 놈들도 소냐의 말에 껌뻑 죽어서 뒷골목의 어려운 자들을 돕곤 했으니까.
It went okay at first. Even the thickest folks were inspired by Sonia's words to help the impoverished in the backstreet.
하지만 소냐는 뭔가가 부족하다는 표정일 뿐이었지.
But Sonia still had a dissatisfied expression.
결국 유로집이는 밖에서 사람을 돕는 것보다는 탁자에서 어떻게 골목을 둥지를 바꿀까 고민하는 데에만 열중인 집단이 되어버렸어.
Ultimately, the Yurodiviye warped into an organization that cared more for debating about how best to change the streets in the nest, rather than going out to help those in need.
그래서 나는 그들을 떠났던 거야.
That's why I left them.
탁상 공론 가지고는 배고른 이웃을 먹여 살릴 순 없으니까.
Being an armchair revolutionary wasn't going to feed our starving neighbors.
하지만 내가 누누이 말했잖아, 로자. 우리는 때를 기다려야 한다고.
But I told you time and time again, Rodion, that we must wait for the right moment.
소냐, 미안한데 그 때라는 건
Sonia, I'm sorry, but that moment you kept talking about.
유로지비의 막내 꼬마 이반이 음식물 쓰레기를 주워 먹었을 때도
It didn't come when the Yurodiviye's youngest, when little Ivan had to sate his hunger with food from the garbage.
기도가 막혀서 죽은 다음에도 찾아오지 않았어.
Nor did it arrive after he suffocated to death.
큰 일을 위해선 더 큰 힘과 더 자세한 정책이 필요해. 부의 재분배를 위해서 말이야.
To achieve a monumental task, well-thought policies and a great power to carry them are required, all to make the redistribution of wealth happen.
그리고 그런 방향으로 나아가기 위해서는 사사로운 잡음은 생기기 마련이지.
And in the process of moving towards progress, such minor troubles on a personal level are inevitable.
사사로워? 우리는 원래 사사로운 자들을 돕기 위해서 시작했어.
That's minor to you? The whole thing was personal. We started this to help others.
네가 하고 있던 일들은 유로지비가 하고 있던 일들은 내가 바랬던 방향과는 맞지 않았다고.
What you and the Yurodiviye were doing wasn't what I hoped for.
그래서 직접 나서기로 결심한 거야?
Is that why you decided to take matters into your own hands?
당연하지. 우리 마을에 필요했던 건
Absolutely. What our town needed
언제 올지 모르는 그때만 손 놓고 기다리는 게 아니라
wasn't an empty promise telling people to sit on their hands for who knows when,
눈앞에 놓인 도끼를 망설임 없이 집어들 수 있는 사람이니까.
but someone who wouldn't hesitate to pick up the axe.
그날도 이웃들 중 대부분이 4일 이상은 배를 곪고 있었을 거야.
I bet most of my neighbors had been starving for 4 nights straight that day.
그런데도 바람은 봐주는 일 없이 날카로웠고 굶주린 자의 갈라진 피부를 사정없이 핥혀댔어.
Yet the biting wind kept hounding without mercy, clawing at the chapped skin of the famished peasants.
나는 우리 이웃들이 사흘 밤낮을 토할 듯이 먹어대도 티도 안 날 만큼의 많은 돈이 있는 금고를 알고 있었고 말이야.
And I happened to know whose safe kept more than enough money to treat my neighbors to a feast for days and still be just as full.
그래서 어떻게 했어?
So what did you do?
잠깐만, 나 이거 그만하면 안 돼?
Give me a sec. Can't I pull out of this now?
이곳은 황금가지가 공명하면서 너를 위해 생겨난 일종의 고해실이야.
This is a confessional created for you as a result of the golden bow resonating with your sight.
그리고 고해실은 주로 죄인의 참회를 위해 생기는 곳이지.
Moreover, a confessional's purpose is to lead a sinner to the path of penance.
불쌍한 로지온 녀석. 네가 대단한 구원자라도 되는 줄 착각하나 본데.
That sounds distinctly audible. I'm sure if you knew Korean you could probably parse that out, but without subtitles I'm hopeless for it.
그 노파가 마지막에 마음을 고쳐먹기라도 했더라면.
If only that old woman had changed her mind before it came to an end.
하지만 로자,
But Rodion,
평생을 이웃에게 수탈만 일삼을 줄 알았던 노파가
you must have known that a terminal leech upon her neighbors would never turn over a new leaf.
갑자기 모든 걸 포용하며 자신의 돈을 내놓을 사람이 아니라는 것쯤은 알고 있었잖니.
You know she wasn't the kind of person who'd give up that life to turn into a generous philanthropist.
알았더라면 너도 처음부터 도끼 따위는 들고 가지 않았겠지.
You wouldn't have knocked on her door with an axe in hand otherwise.
불쌍한 로지온 녀석. 네가 대단한 구원자라도 되는 줄 착각하나 본데.
Poor Rodion, dear. You seem to be under the delusion that you're some sort of savior.
그렇게 당당하게 내 돈을 요구해도 달라지는 건 없네.
Demanding my money so brazenly to my face won't change anything.
너희도 저 뒷골목 비렁뱅이와 다를 바 없는 버러지들일 뿐이지.
You vermin are no different from the paupers in the back streets.
그래,
That's right.
그녀의 머리를 가른 건 나야.
I'm the one who put an axe through her head.
황금 거위의 배를 가르듯 노파의 두개골을 깨끗하게 갈라내었지.
Like cutting open the belly of the goose that laid golden eggs, I chopped that hag's skull.
결국 누군가는 했어야 할 일이었잖아. 안 그래?
I mean, someone had to do it. Am I wrong?
황금 거위는 스스로의 욕심에 의해 기회의 끈을 자른 얼간이의 일화지만
Unlike the foolish cottager in the fable who gave in to greed and lost out on becoming richer.
우리는 그녀의 뇌를 파먹어도 시원치 않을 정도로 굶주린 불우한 자들이었으니까.
We were overcome with hunger and misery and could have gladly eaten out her brains.
그리고 그 배에는 확실하게 황금알이 가득 배어 있었으니까.
And her belly was full of golden eggs, unlike that of the goose.
그래, 그 노파는 25구의 막강한 권력을 가진 세금 수탈자였지.
Yes, the old lady you killed was a tax collector wielding considerable authority in District 25.
하지만 그녀가 그렇게 활개를 치고 다닐 수 있었던 건 그녀의 동생이 중지의 조직원이기에 가능했던 일이었어.
But what gave her so much power was her sibling status as a member of the middle.
나는 굶어 죽어가는 이웃들을 위해 도끼를 휘둘렀어. 그게 잘못됐어?
I struck her down to save my dying neighbors. Is that so wrong?
아니, 너는 스스로를 위해 휘두른 거야.
No, you held that axe for your own good.
네가 그저 평범한 사람에 불과하지 않다는 사실을 견딜 수가 없었던 거지.
You couldn't stand the fact that you weren't anyone special.
알고 있어? 중지는 자신의 식구를 건든 자들을 절대 잊지 않아.
Did you know? The middle never lets anyone who touches their family go unpunished.
그들은 누가 했느냐가 중요한 게 아니라 자신들을 건들면 어떻게 되는지가 더 중요한 자들이야.
They aren't too interested in finding who exactly did it. Rather, they like to demonstrate clearly what happens to the poor fools that dare disturb them. In case it isn't abundantly clear, crossing the paths of one of the five fingers of the back streets rarely ends well for anyone.
처음으로 질 좋은 부위에 고기를 씹고 있던 뒷골목 주민들의 기쁨은 그대로 시체가 되어 탑처럼 쌓였지.
The back streets residents who tasted the joy of quality meat for the first time in their lives soon made towering cadaverous pillars out on the roads.
카지노 밖에 쌓여있던 그 차들의 탑처럼 말이야.
Not much different from the car pagodas outside the casino.
네가 그날 이후로 얼마나 고통스럽고 죄악감으로 뒤덮인 나날을 보냈는지 알고 있어.
I'm well aware of how much pain and guilt you've been burdened with ever since then.
스스로가 황금 거위를 가른 얼간이와 다를 바가 없었음을 깨달은 네가 말이야.
Living with the realization that you really weren't so different from the foolish cottager after all.
그날 이후로 그 어떤 것도 더 이상 온전한 내 것으로 느껴지지 않았어.
Since that day, nothing I held truly felt like it was mine.
모두 나 때문.
All because of me.
다 괜찮아, 로자.
It's all fine, Rodion.
난 말이야, 로자.
For you see, Rodion,
세상을 바꾸기 위해 수천 권의 책을, 수만 장의 문서를 찾았고
to change the world, I perused hundreds of books and thousands of documents.
도시 곳곳에서 사람들도 만나왔어.
And I met various people all around the city.
지배 계급의 착취로부터 벗어나 마침내 피억업자들의 진정한 해방을 손에 넣을 수 있는 세상.
Picturing a world where the oppressed can escape from the exploitative dominion of the ruling class and find liberation in the truest sense.
그 세상을 만들기 위해서 말이야.
To make that world a reality.
하지만 정답은 바꾸는 것에 있지 않았어. 이미 잘못 써내려간 페이지는 영영 되돌릴 수 없지.
However, the answer didn't lie in changing what was already there. Once a page of history is written, there's no way to go back and revise it.
잘 봐. 이게 너와 내가 도달할 수 있는 세상이야.
Look, this is a world we can reach.
네가 공명한 황금가지를 통해 만들어갈 수 있는 그런 세상.
A world that can be created using the golden bow with which you resonated.
지상에서는 백올른이 하나 없기를.
May there be no one upon this earth suffering from starvation.
정신적이며 지적인 쾌락을 추구할 수 있는 권리가 누구에게나 있기를.
May every individual enjoy the right to pursue psychological and intellectual delights.
나와 함께한다면 그 세상을 너에게 선물로 줄게.
Join hands with me and I'll give you that world as a gift.
마치 처음부터 아무 일도 일어나지 않았던 것처럼.
As if nothing up to this point had ever happened at all.
누가 이해할 수 있을까?
A feeling nobody else would understand.
잠깐뿐이었지만 맛보았던 그 세계는 너무나 꿈 같아서
Even a glimpse of that world felt so dreamlike.
잠시 눈에 담았을 뿐이었지만 잠시도 그 순간을 잊고 싶지 않아서
I wanted to etch that mesmerizing instant into my memory.
꿈이라면 다시는 깨어나지 않기를. 차라리 내가 꿈 세계의 주민이기를 바라고 싶을 정도였다.
If this was a dream, I'd even wish I was part of it so that I will never have to leave it.
그럼에도
And yet...
미안. 그래도 난 거절할래.
Sorry, I'm still turning down your offer.
왜일까?
How to put it?
아직 나는 따뜻해지고 싶지가 않아. 조금 더 이 추위에서 떨어야겠어.
I don't want to bathe in warmth just yet. I feel like I ought to be in this cold a bit longer.
언제쯤 따뜻해져도 될지 그 대답을 찾을 때까지는 아직 여기에 있으려고.
Think I'll stay this way until I find my answer to the question of when it'll be okay to warm myself.
그리고 수냐,
And also, Sonia.
너 내가 성질 못 이기고 앞장서서 처리하러 갈 거라는 걸 미리 알고 있었지?
You knew my temper will get the best of me and get me to kill her, didn't you?
로자, 넌 이해하기 어렵겠지만 내겐 표시가 없어.
Rodion, this will probably elude you, but you don't have the mark.
너가 가지고 있을 거라고 기대를 하고 왔지만 오히려 다른 친구들에게서 보이는.
I came here hoping to see you possess it, but I'm seeing it on a few of your friends instead.
표지? 그게 무슨...
The mark? What do you...
더군다나 넌 표지를 볼 수 있지도 않지. 그 말인즉슨 내겐 누군가를 이끌 힘은 없다는 뜻이야.
Besides, you can't see the mark either. In other words, you don't have what it takes to be a leader.
하지만 나는 달라. 그러니까 더 나은 세상을 위해선
But I'm different. So to make a better world...
그래. 넌 책이 잔뜩 쌓여있던 탁자 위에서도 비슷한 말을 했던 것 같아.
Yepper, I think I remember hearing you say something like that while sat at a desk buried in books.
그래서 나는 너와 함께할 수 없어.
That's why I can't join you.
탁자 위에서나 오가는 말로는 역시 이웃들을 배부르게 할 수 없으니까.
I still believe that it's not big words behind closed doors that feed your neighbors.
너도 알겠지만
And as I'm sure you've learned by now,
망나니 새끼가 어떻게 샌님 밑으로 들어가겠냐?
there's no way a rowdy rascal like me would fit under some dweeb's leadership, right?
황금가지는 저 성 안에 있어, 로자.
The golden bow awaits us inside the castle, Rodion.
무사히 네가 원하는 걸 찾을 수 있기를.
I hope you'll be able to find what you seek. We walked past Sonia and then made our way into the icy castle he indicated. Wave 1 of 4? This can't be good. And they're all outspeeding. Okay. One at a time. One at a time.
부드럽게. 부드럽게. 균형이 무너졌군요.
Technically, it shouldn't matter if an abnormality, such as what these are counted as, use positive or negative coins, since they shouldn't have sanity to influence those rolls. Of course, how it actually works out tends to be a bit different than what you'd expect.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게
좋은 결투였다.
완전한 침묵.
Boom. What the? The castle trembles intensely as frosty rubble falls around us from above. Wait, if this keeps up, a foreboding idea flashes in my head. The ticking of my clock was like a reminder of how much time we had left. Outside, now! We evacuated from it in a hurry.
지금 제가 잘못 보고 있는 건 아니죠?
Am I seeing this right?
성이 무너지는 것이 아니라 마치
The castle isn't falling apart, it's like...
네, 확실히 일어서고 있네요.
Indeed, it's most certainly rising to its feet.
뒤돌아보지 마. 그냥 달리라고.
Don't look back, just run. Oh yeah, we ran quite a bit, but what now?
발소리. 사람의 것은 아니다. 제법 둔중하고 무거워.
Footfalls, not of a human, rather slow and heavy.
그냥 엄청 큰 게 쫓아온다고 말하면 되는 거잖아요.
You could just say that something mammoth is after us.
그러는 편이 나았을지도 모르지.
That may have served better. That's how you know he's stressed, because he just admits it.
단테, 일단 어떻게 끝냈으니까 빨리 여길 나가자. 어?
The Dante, our job here is done, so we can just book it. Cool? Give me a second. I never considered what to do after getting down here.
아, 진짜 지금 그딴 게 문제야?
Oh, really? Does this look like the time for dopey plans?
버스는 어디지?
The bus. Where's the bus?
도움도 안 되는 소리 그만 짓거려. 일단 반대로 뛰어.
Stop yapping useless rubbish. We're running the hell away.
처음으로 논리적인 말을 들은 것 같네요. 히스클리프.
That might be the first logical statement I've heard leave your mouth, Heathcliff.
너는 이따가 대갈통을 부숴주마.
I'm smashing your skull to pieces later. This is the first and I think only fight in the game, so to speak, where you're under a hard time limit to instant death. Baba Yaga's coming. Baba Yaga is closing in. Clear the way or face certain death. There's even a small animation for it, but I'm not going to show you that because I'm not doing this again.
금방 다녀올게.
쉽네.
딱. 다시 좋은 결투였다.
꺼냈다. 맛있는 거 준비해줘, 단테.
먼저 간다.
균형이 무너졌군요. 불타올랐군요.
꺼냈다. 맛있는 거 준비해줘, 단테.
다음은 침묵을 안겨드리죠.
This is where it starts to get tricky as protection starts to pile up. They might not have much health, but any health remaining, if this timer is up, is enough to spell your end.
그 누구도 볼 수 없게.
다시 결투는 끝나지 않아.
쉽네. 불타올랐군요.
완전한 침묵.
Safety. If only we get through this.
금방 다녀올게.
다시 결투는 끝나지 않아.
균형이 무너졌군요.
Not great, but should still be manageable.
아딱.
쉽네. 불타올랐군요.
No way we're losing this one.
먼저 간다.
균형이 무너졌군요. 불타올랐군요.
Out of here.
저기 입구가 보여요.
Y'all saw that, right? Rodion was the last one out. She didn't fade out. I see the exit over there.
끈질기구만.
Yeah, persistent rotters. We'll have to distract them somehow before we can get away.
한 놈 던져주지 그래? 어차피 나중에 되살리면 되는데.
Why don't you throw one of us at them? You can bring them back later anyway.
저를 왜 쳐다보는 거예요?
Why are you looking at me while you say that? Hold on, look there.
이곳은 내가 맡을게.
Leave this to me.
소냐? 무슨 꿍꿍이야?
Sonia, what are you playing at? Rodion, what's with your attitude? We have to take all the help we can get.
보통 목적 없이 도와주는 놈들 치고 꿍꿍이가 없는 놈들은 못 봤단 말이야.
I've seen people who'd offer to help without asking for anything, and they'd usually have some ulterior motive.
네가 도끼를 휘두르지 않고서 견딜 수 없는 날이 있었던 것처럼.
It's just like how you simply couldn't hold yourself back from using your axe that day.
나한테도 설명하기엔 아득한 우발적인 욕구가 있는 것 같아.
I'm discovering that I might have a similarly inexplicable drive pushing me.
단테, 당신의 조직도 결국은 더 나은 세상을 만들기 위한 곳인 거지?
Dante, I take it that your organization is working to make a better world in its own right, yes? What does a better world entail? For the first time, I was reminded that I had never questioned the motivations of Limbus Company. Thankfully, none of my contemplative fudging reached Sonia, and he took my lack of response as a sign of agreement.
침묵은 때론 긍정을 시사하지. 그렇다는 것으로 알고 있겠어.
Silence sometimes speaks volumes. I'll take that as a positive.
그리고 곧 그 아이가 당신에게도 찾아갈 테니.
And one more thing. That child will soon visit you too. Child?
Oh.
Huh? Very interesting, Sinclair.
죄송해요. 잘못 봤나 봐요. 순간적으로 저분 이마에.
Sorry. My eyes must have fooled me. I thought I saw something on his forehead for a second.
그래. 내게도 흔적을 남긴 그 아이 말이야. 그리운 재회겠군.
Indeed. I mean that boy who left quite the impression on you. It'll be a touching reunion, I imagine. Sonia nudges his chin at something behind him. A faint light was shining between the fallen blocks of ice, giving a distinctive glow. The golden bow.
하지만 다음에 만날 때에도 이런 호의적인 충동을 일으킬 거란 기대는 마.
Don't expect me to act on the same impulse of kindness next we meet, though. And gosh, I really love those animations.
다수의 풍요를 위한 명확한 길이 보인다면 난 주저없이 다른 쪽을 선택할 거야.
If a clear path towards prosperity of the many shows itself before my eyes, I'll take it without hesitation. After Sonia left us with a mysterious message, their Yurodiviye began to show up one after the other. Well, this may have been as good a time as any for touching farewells like "I won't forget you." Then I saw that Rodion was the first to sprint for the exit.
로지온, 걱정되지는 않소.
Rodion, are you not concerned?
뭐가?
What's up?
결과 여하가 어떠하였든 저자는 그대에 보시지 않았소.
Irrespective of consequential differences, he was nevertheless a friend of yours.
걘 워낙 머리를 잘 굴릴 줄 아는 애라 알아서 살 방법을 찾고도 남아.
That. He's a clever sort, so I'm sure he'll figure out a way to live and all that jazz.
실로 이상적인 것이구려.
Truly an ideal form of friendship. Sometime later. Though I was dead tired, Virgilius wouldn't spare me from his fierce gaze until I gave him a brief verbal report of what we went through today.
잘 들었다. 하지만 마음에 걸리는 것이 남아있군.
I see. So that's your story. There's just one thing that bothers me, though.
소냐라는 자 말인데 그자가 추구했던 사상과 마지막에 보여준 행동은 서로 상충이 돼.
This man, Sonia, was it? His actions during those final moments don't quite seem to match the beliefs he told you.
그러니 그자의 의도에 대해 명확히 짚고 넘어갈 필요가.
Which is why we should scrutinize his true intentions.
잠깐.
Hey, time out.
이상도 그러더니 왜 다들 나보다 소니아한테 관심을 가지는 거야? 어쨌든 황금 가지를 가져오는 거엔 성공했잖아.
First, ye saying, and now you too. Why does everyone care more about Sonia than me? The bottom line is that we got the golden bow.
그리고 모두 이것 좀 봐.
As a plus, check this out, everyone. From her pockets, Rodion pulled out a colorful bunch of gaming chips in her hands.
이거 근처 카지노 아무데나 들린 다음에 교환하면 바로 현금으로 돌려받을 수 있어.
We can exchange these cuties for cash at any casino, so we should drop by one.
우리 관리자님이 크게 한탕하셨을 때 날쌔게 챙겨왔지.
I nabbed them while our manager dazzled the floor with their jackpot. I'm impressed that you thought to snatch that stuff amidst all the chaos.
어때 베르? 임무도 성공했는데 이번에야말로 육즙이 흘러나오는 툭불 등심을 먹어야 하지 않겠어?
Well, Verg, what do you say to a juicy serving of prime sirloin steak to celebrate our abounding success today?
어떻게 생각하지, 카론?
What do you think, Caron?
내피도 먹고 싶어하는 것 같아. 육즙이 흘러나오는 신선한 고기.
Seems Mephi wants it too. Fresh, succulent, juicy meat.
아, 비울래도 그런?
Yeah, of all the things you could mention.
좋아. 19의 골목 식당 추천은 로지온에게 맡기지.
Alright then, I'll leave Rodion to pick a restaurant in District 10 for us.
알았어. 부릉부릉.
Okay, vroom vroom.
이제 좀 말이 통하네 베르.
Now we're talking, Verg.
역시
After all said and done, beneath her grin, Rodio's eyes were shaking with distress, but she soon covers it up with a guise of joviality as if nothing ever happened.
나는 좀 쩐다니까.
I'm pretty rad, aren't I?
그림자를 쫓던 나날들 남은 건 허망한 기억 불길이 나를 태운 것처럼 내 손엔 잿빛 먼지뿐 쉼없이 달려왔던 나를 죄어오던 시간들 이조차 그리워질까 먼 날 언젠가는 돌이켜볼 기억 속에 미소 지을 수 있기를 내게 남은 알 수 없는 시간과 이제는 나가야 할 때 자신을 태워 사라져가는 촛불과 닮아 있구나 숨고를 새도 없이 떠밀려 던져진 날 속에 내 길을 갈 수 있기를 먼 날 언젠가는 돌이켜볼 기억 속에 미소 지을 수 있도록 멀리 멀리 날아가고 싶어 밤하늘의 새처럼 별에 닿을 수 있게 이 밤 또다시 찾아오겠지만 괜찮아 다 사라지네 괜찮아
대단하네, 유로디비.
Impressive, Yurodiviye.
그렇게 많은 적을 모조리 쓸어버린 것도 모자라서
Not only did you manage to clear out the legion of foes,
그 많은 돈을 전부 태워버리다니.
you also burned all that cash.
알잖아요, 헤르만. 옛날부터 돈은 제 친구가 아니었다는 걸.
You should know, Herman, that I've never been friends with money.
인정하지. 보통의 몽상가들은 말만 번지르르 하지만 당신은 다르네.
I will admit, you are not like most idealists who are all theory and no action.
황금가지를 잘 가지고 오기만 했어도 칭찬까지 해줬을 테지만 말이야.
You would have earned my praise had you secured the golden bow on top of everything.
로자에게 그 세상을 보여줬어요.
I showed Rodion that world.
나를 반하게 만든 이상의 세상 말이죠.
The ideal reality that fascinated me.
하지만
alas,
넘어오질 않았던 모양이군.
I suppose it didn't win her over.
당신이 말한 방법은 역시 틀렸던 것 같네요, 헤르만.
It seems the method you suggested was wrong after all, Herman.
그런 말 몇 마디로 꼬드겨질 인물이 아니었어요.
She wasn't the kind of person to let a few words change her mind.
그래서 아쉬움니?
So do you find this regrettable?
글쎄요.
Well,
옛날처럼 나를 따라주길 바랬던 것 같기도 한데.
part of me wished that she'd follow me like in the past.
아니, 옛날과 변한 게 없어서 차라리 다행인 것 같네요.
But no, I think I'm actually relieved to find that she's the same as before.
로자는 모든 게 이상적이고 완벽한 세상을 바라고 있지 않았어요.
Rodion wasn't wishing for a perfect world with no flaws whatsoever.
오히려 그런 세상은
Rather, she might have felt
자신이 특별하다는 걸 확인받을 수 없으니 지루하다고 생각하지 않을까.
that it would be boring to live in such a world, since there'd be no way to affirm that she's special.
그런 생각이 들더군요.
That's the impression I got.
외력에 흔들리지 않는 성인군자인가 싶었는데.
I thought her to be a woman of virtue, principles unshakable.
너랑 다를 바 없는 몽상가였네.
But hearing this, she was a dreamer just like you, wasn't she?
아직 그 아이도 가야 할 길은 멀은 거겠죠.
She still has a long way to go, I'm sure.
로자는 인정하고 싶지 않아 하겠지만요.
She won't want to admit it, though.
이야기는 잘 알겠어. 이후의 행동 방향을 결정할 때 참고하도록 할게.
I got your point. I'll keep it in mind for future considerations on our course of action.
책망하지 않는 건가요? 난 당신이 시킨 일을 완수하진 못했잖아요.
You won't scold me for this? I was unable to complete the job you gave me.
나무란다고 해서 가지가 솟아나는 것은 아니잖아.
Reprimands won't make the bow appear at our feet, will they?
괜찮아. 지금 가지들이 어디에 있든
It's fine. Wherever the bows may be right now.
최후의 가지 다발을 손에 쥐는 자가 누구인지 그게 더 중요하니까.
What matters more is who claims the bundle at the end.
압도했습니다. 제 기존 범술보다 한층 더 향상된 기술을 쓸 수 있었다고 생각합니다. 시청자의 수가 대폭 증가하겠군요.
Basic identity subtide, which means all of our base sinners have finally unlocked their third skill, including all basic ego. And another level up. Nice. As you can see though, the amount of max energy we're getting is already going down from 3 to only 2. Thread excavation has been unlocked. Mirror dungeon has been unlocked. It appears you've grown more familiar with your field command, Dante. Your ability should now be sufficient to access a core function of Mephistopheles. Press this button to enter the mirror dungeon. In the mirror dungeon, you can experiment and test various possibilities. Completing a run grants battle pass experience and a certain amount of lunacy. Anyway, that'll be all for today. We've unlocked the next Canto, the Unconfronting, which is Sinclair's Canto. And in case it isn't clear, there is a way you can tell which Sinner's Canto is coming up next, even before you actually unlock it or before they're available to select. The hint is given in the prologue of the game. But that will be all for today. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I do hope you enjoyed it. Take care, everyone. I'll see you in the next video, whatever that might end up being.